The Greek derby never disappoints, and whether you're a fan of Olympiacos or Panathinaikos, or just a coach or player studying the game or casual fan, there's so much to learn from every single matchup, like this one from last season. My name is Coleman Ayers from By Any Means Basketball. I'm a basketball coach and trainer located in Miami, Florida, who travels all around the world to train players from the youth level all the way up to EuroLeague. And a few years back, I fell in love with the energy, the style of play, the X's and O's, and the talent in European pro basketball, and have never really turned back. So I'll be breaking down this entire game, play by play, to show you guys what really goes into a passionate rivalry game like this. And trust me, this game was truly like a boxing match. Two aggressive heavyweights going back and forth, throwing defensive blows at each other with a long history, setting intense undertones. And I'm excited for you guys to see it broken down under the microscope.
The latest installment of the...
So early in the game, the biggest tone setter was the defensive aggression, and this sets the tone for really the entire game. A shot clock violation on the first possession of the game isn't very common, but as you'll see, makes sense considering how this game goes. So walk up and Olympiacos throw the first defensive punch, and waiting right there to punch back is Jerry and Grant, who's similarly one of the best defenders in the league. And looking to cut off walk up, the head of the snake.
Foul back into the breadbasket of walk up, Moon balls it back out to Panathinaikos. Looking to get the ball to the cutter down the lane, but it's deflected by Jerry and Grant.
And then another punch. Picking up full court like this may not cause turnovers every time, but early in the game, it can definitely slow the game down, shorten the shot clock, and prevent a team from getting in their rhythm early. And that's exactly what Panathinaikos executed early, combining this with an emphasis on causing deflections and being active in passing lanes. So again, it felt like every possession early, Olympiacos is peaking at the shot clock and overcompensating for this defensive length.
Moving his feet, Peter looking to use his quickness, great separation, back out to Canada.
But any slow start can often be sparked by one guy. And this night, it was Thomas Walkup, who said, okay, if y'all are going to be aggressive and physical, I'm going to do what I do best and match that. As well as them creatively using screens to free him up from Grant's ball pressure and get him into 2v1 situations like this. Now, as the game got going and maybe the nerves start to shake off a bit, both teams start to get to their strengths a bit more, especially with Pana really attacking downhill on these ball screens.
Thomas Walkup, Dino close to being caught, and a legal pick for foul number 3. They hang it up for Bargerov.
And Olympiacos relieving ball screen pressure with this twist and then a pop into space. Now, at some point, pressuring really good teams and guards can have its downfalls, mainly in the form of miscommunications and fatigue starting to build like you see here. And I think Panathinaikos, although they are disrupting the rhythm here with little jabs like this, may have thrown some big punches too early. And then honestly, the game getting a bit ugly. Players getting into foul trouble, and yeah, just watch this stretch here.
Draws iron, rebound run down by Dinos Mitoglu. It's now rip and run basketball from Panathinaikos. Grant settles into three-point territory, shot off right, but he created room. Isaiah Cannon turns on the Jets and turbos his way down the lane, only to have his shot slapped away from behind by Jerry Grant, wide open in the corner. But off the mark is one of the most lethal long-range marksmen in the league. Isaiah Cannon, 42% from downtown for his career, 46% this season. He's in possession of the basketball now.
But as the extension of the coach, Walkup does a phenomenal job here slowing the game down and setting up a nice little high-low action to get a duck in for fall, create insane gravity, and a nice kick out to potentially their most electric scorer, Isaiah Cannon. And after one more intense possession, we finally get to a stoppage, which we'll label as the end of round 1 here.
Driving on Alec Peters,
and look who's in to bring a spark into round 2, which starts right away both on ball and bringing some much needed experience but fresh legs to fly around off ball defensively. And offensively, as I alluded to earlier, Pana is very ball screen heavy and they're looking to score directly with this ball handler attack, which makes sense considering they have what we can probably already consider a legendary backcourt with Nunn and Slukas, who are both now on the floor together. And you can see it. It's ball screen after ball screen after ball screen, looking to get a switch onto a big or an advantage for their speedy guards attacking downhill.
It's the intensity and the pressure that surrounds this particular fixture. Matthias Lasor just leveled Isaiah.
So keep an eye on this as we head to the end of the first. where you can hear Coach Adamant encouraging these guys to keep the pressure high.
We are in bonus. Don't make easy foul. Be smart now. Don't attack. Don't make easy foul. Okay.
And Olympiacos comes out with a focus to ease the pressure with some pace, a down screen to free walk-up, then a staggered Iverson for Williams-Goss, and then an away screen to get Petrusev some space heading into this ball screen, which he ends up kind of ghosting. And all this chaos creates this space for walk-up to come off a nice ball screen against a now tired, scrambling defense, which overcommits on fall, and they get a nice 3 to start the quarter. So now we're in a fun pick and roll back and forth. And Olympiacos once again comes out switching fall onto Slukas, which forces Petrusev into this gap to help, and an easy 3-ball here. So again, some momentum for Powell, but Walkup, who has clearly scouted this play, baits this pass, and once again keeps Olympiacos in this game with his aggressive defensive plays. Now with McKissick tacking a secondary break, the home team gets some nice momentum. So Pana comes back, now with a more switchable big, Moses right in the game. He gladly takes on this Slukas challenge and forces a really tough situation. It's bailed out by a touch foul. But here's the thing, sometimes a bad call can be the best thing for an electric team like Olympiacos, who clearly uses this to wake them up and get even more momentum going, forcing a timeout before Peace and Friendship Stadium erupts. And at this point, even out of the timeout, the Panathinaikos offense just looks stale. As soon as Walkup breaks up this initial action, they resort to, once again, a super simple ball screen, which they comfortably switch, and use the length on the floor and a short clock to stifle, get out in transition, and get the ball to Petrusev, who Kendrick Nunn had to pick up, or else he would have had an easy one. This is how runs happen in basketball. Pana goes back down, and this is not a bad shot, but they don't really fight for a good one. While on the other side of the floor, they're energetically running through their set, and Moses Wright, who's developed some momentum on the defensive side of the ball now, makes a super tough and one. So now we got a game, but with super talented teams, it's sometimes about sticking to what you know works, which is getting the ball into a scorer's hands, creating some nice momentum on this 45 cut to clear the attack lane, and letting Grant go to work off a high ball screen. And as we've seen on this run, Coach Bartzokas is trying to get the ball down low and let these athletic bigs attack a foul-troubled interior. So knowing he's going to switch, Wright uses this reposition on the ball screen to get inside position, and McKissick, knowing this is a tough angle, makes a nice hockey assist to Walkup, who drops it in for an easy 2. And while Coach Adamant continues to trust his ultra-talented guys to create for themselves, which they begin to do here with more energy on this ball screen and on this Lesor post-up, you also see Olympiacos continuing to get into their staples, where a guard will start in the paint, Walkup will come off of this ball screen, and as that roll is happening, the guard will sprint as fast as they can to clear this space and create a dilemma for Nunn, who now has to choose between tagging or staying in front of this roll, or going with his man, which he slightly does, and allows an interior pass for 2. And once again, who do we have sparking another run? Walkup's physicality and willingness to chase hard over screens and hard for the ball. And this is where it gets fun. Again, let's take a boxing match. You know how at the end of a round, both fighters will start to really go at it? That's what we're about to see here. And right as Olympiacos is about to take their first lead with a beautiful Gortat screen, Lesor's insane athleticism saves this play, and Slukas capitalizes on some momentum by beautifully navigating this ball screen and sinking a tough 3-ball. Guess what Olympiacos goes back to? But this time, they have Papa Nicolau act like he's going to set this Spain screen, but ends up slipping out for fall to hit his man on the screen, and boom, back to 2. And then just watch these next few plays and feel this energy in the building to close the half.
Slukas using his speed advantage against foul. Catches the back, tough catch. Costas Papa Nicolau inside to foul. Water. Shot clock is being turned off. Jaren Grant with the quickness hanging in the air.
And that's a hell of a way to bring it to a tied up halftime. And you can hear some of these things reflected in the halftime thoughts too.
Unbalance, of course, on the fast break after the turnovers. We need to, now we talk about this, we need to attack better against the switch. And okay, we play good basketball, we miss some very open shots, we continue to play. It's not easy here to come here to win by 10, by 15 points against Olympiacos. We stay on the game and we continue to play on that way.
So coming out of the half, watch this Olympiacos defensive possession. They run this screen-to-screener action to get none open, but Walkup plays it perfectly, and meanwhile, Cannon isn't letting Grant get comfortable. Because of this, that shot clock gets down quickly, Grant gets sped up, and things get hectic. And starting quarters or rounds with a big defensive punch is one of those things that Olympiacos does really well and has really helped keep them in the game by stifling any momentum. And coming back down, Olympiacos finally gets their first lead of the night on an inbounds, and you can really start to feel the tide shifting here. Powell keeps chipping away with this Nunn ball screen, and he creates a great look on this Grigonis lift, but it just doesn't go. And yeah, you can sense that frustration here, although Nunn does a great job of encouraging here. Right now, it seems like Pana may have come out of the gate too aggressive, and Olympiacos is just outlasting them by being super physical on ball screens.
The game with his opening score to begin this second half.
And then offensively, taking advantage of this fatigue by forcing them to guard assertive screens and absolutely killing them on the offensive glass.
Instead of screens for Walker, Nicolau for three, off the front side. He wants an offensive rebound and stick back by Mustafa foul.
And as soon as it seems like Pana may be stopping the run with a timeout and a nicely executed fast break, an offensive rebound tip to a three may be the most deflating thing possible. And every possession down, even when they get into the paint, Olympiacos smartly fouls or just packs the paint, forcing a now super stagnant, out of rhythm offense to try to kick out and regain that momentum with threes. And this time we're right back to the same setup again. This time actually setting the Spain screen to this up screen for the roll man to now get the ball right under the rim, and instead of an easy dunk, Fall trusts his teammates and the momentum that they have and kicks to a wide open three. Now at halftime, Adamman mentioned that they need to attack these switches better. And this time, instead of attacking the big on small matchup like in the first half, Sloukas takes advantage of the small on big matchup with Lesor. But once again, Papanikolaou fouls him to stop an easy rhythm bucket. They're trying to keep them out of rhythm with physicality. Olympiacos may have gotten a little bit too overboard and commits 3 straight fouls, putting them in the bonus and giving them an easy bucket, which easily could have turned the tide. But in a pivotal momentum possession here, Williams-Goss does a great job of getting downhill, being patient, not getting sped up by that lack of momentum, and using his pivot to calm the team down with a nice bucket. And again, you can just tell here that these guys offensively are overthinking shots like this, making simple mistakes.
Squeezing the ball to the corner. Now we've got a breach at the needle to Giannis Papapetru.
But you got to think, at some point, Lesor is going to start converting on switches like this. And even if Olympiacos continues to grind out buckets like these, MVP level guard like Nunn will make some plays. And remember what I said about the end of a round feeling? Yeah, same thing here as both teams kind of limped into the end of the quarter without much, although Panathinaikos now has a glimpse of hope.
Off the mark, rebound secured by Matheus Lesor at ankle height. Nunn drives another turnover, half a dozen turnovers from the hand of Kendrick Nunn, who after those 4-point play heroics drove.
Coming out of these fourth quarter gates, this is a super smart play by Nunn, who's seen that taking advantage of over physicality and fouls are how they've been able to creep back into the game. So he stops here unpredictably and draws yet another foul. Then this time, against a slightly deflated defense, he does kill the switch.
Pulling up. Oh, that's a tough.
And after a quick stop, pushes against the defense on the ropes to get an easy dunk and electrify the team. And after a block that could really galvanize a run, bad shots are the killer of momentum anytime. And that's exactly what happens here, as this shot with over half the shot clock left is probably not the smartest decision, and effectively acts as a turnover leading to an easy lay. But Powell sticks with the game plan here, continuing to feed Lesor deep in the second half, who's starting to get a bit of momentum and is probably the best guy on this squad to match the physicality level. But again, every time they get some momentum, Olympiacos just out-hustles them. And that's frustrating. So by this point, the Panathinaikos offense is super stagnant, basically going 1v1 each possession, which is something you'll often see in fourth quarters of frustrating, tiring games. and it's leading to easy points.
Which is racked up to 6. Disappointed he didn't receive the ball from Jaron Grant, and then it's poked away. And it's easy pickings for Shaquille McKissick. White. His hands on his shorts as Kendrick Nunn driving. And it's Moses Wright from behind, slapped away emphatically into the hands of Philip Petrusev. Kendrick Nunn.
But again, this is where having guys who can go and create for themselves is most important. And who better than Kostas Sloukas?
Kendrick Nunn scored the first 5. Panathinaikos points to Sloukas, driving, hanging, count the...
Low-key, Moses Wright was ready to match that. No special action here, just pure will, and probably taking advantage of Lesor's heavy workload to get a dunk that took the roof off.
My goodness! And delivers a two-fisted facial right into the mud!
And again, although Sloukas does a great job of creating, this is real home court advantage and the power of momentum.
Bigs in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague. Air ball from the three-point.
What shows up in this next possession too is the ball hops around, creating a ton of long closeouts. But Williams-Goss just misses the floater short, and Olympiacos makes a huge mistake by lackadaisically getting back and allowing Grant to push ahead of everyone and get to the 10 for 2 easy free throws. Now, I also want to point out the Olympiacos lineup here to get into this closing period of the game. You got 2 guys in Wright and McKissick who are deploying their physicality on both sides, but especially attacking hard offensively. Williams-Goss, who's done an incredible job of controlling the pace. Petrusev to continue to create out of the post. And then Alec Peters to space the floor and be that huge scoring threat. Definitely not the starting lineup, but a well-crafted lineup by Bartzokas. Yet as poorly as it seems Pana has been executing, none is keeping them in this game, and still a 3-point game. It's 1 possession. And this is really where we start to see the best players create and close the game. With Sloukas attacking the switch and getting super deep into the defense, getting to 2 feet, and opening up a 3-ball. And then you got Peters here, who does a great job of lifting up to create a longer closeout. And then Wright, who's been the hero of this game, stay engaged, kind of seal off his defender, and Peters trusts him for an easy dunk. And here, when Olympiacos needs to stop badly, and with Wright perfect from the field and clearly feeling it, they're looking for that knockout blow from him. So they clear his side of the floor, get him into a fake handoff action with walk-up, to now have some momentum on the sort, and he gets fouled. But he misses both free throws to keep this game a game. And funny enough, after getting what may be a suboptimal shot, but you can't really blame Nunn for it, the potential knockout blow comes from that free throw line, which may have been a bit of a touch foul for how this game's played, but hey, what can you say? Now down 6, Panathinaikos gets a foul to go their way, and knocks down 1 to stay up and fighting. Guess what? Sometimes it's just about wanting it more. And Moses Wright once again delivers a blow that may have floored Panathinaikos.
Williams-Goss with a blow by, goes up strong, trying to reverse off the mark. And the rebound secured, as is the stick back by Moses Wright. What a spectacular effort as he adds to his new career high to remain perfect.
While the last half minute of the game saw Pana score a Lesor dunk and a crazy 3 by Grigonis. Olympiacos made their free throws, stayed composed, and that deficit was just too much to overcome. And despite not having an absurd last-second ending, this game was an incredible watch. The physicality, the unsung heroes, the energy, and the level of tactical brilliance on both coaches' side is always a treat to watch.
Games in a row in the Greek derby in EuroLeague encounters, and they make it 6 wins in a row in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague for their best run of the season, overturning a double.
And we get it multiple times a year in the EuroLeague. Make sure to tune into this year's Greek derby coming up on November 8th.
Filled with joy and intensity. So many key contributors, particularly that man, Moses Wright, jumping for joy.